The choke is on. Give it a second, and I'll give it a few primes. Okay, so now it should start. Should start. Hey guys, so today we have this. It's a 1985 Snowflight by MTD, and it comes equipped with an 8 horsepower Tecumseh Snow King engine. And unfortunately, a little bit of an issue with this girl. You see, the auger belt snapped. And as you can see, we've had a fair bit of snow, and this old girl's gotten quite the workout. But unfortunately, the belt finally said, you know what, I'm done, no more. And that's what it did. It said no more, and there was no more. So the auger doesn't spin when you try to engage it, but the engine, well, it's another story. Unfortunately, I'm noticing something else about this engine. Brand new spark plug, and I know that's not the problem because that's the spark plug that this engine calls for, but she's a little hard to start sometimes. So we're gonna have to inspect that flywheel. I'm not suspecting it, but there is a possibility because it did ingest one of its chains from its tire over there. In fact, it was actually that wheel that it ingested the chain of. It could be partially sheared. I hope not, but that is a possibility. So we're gonna take a look. Plus, we're also going to see about checking the points and condenser, seeing if the points need some cleaning up. And I got to figure out some way to fix this throttle because it's a little loose, and while it's running, well, I'll have it at full throttle. Next thing I know, it's halfway down. I'm like, oh, where's all my power? All right, guys, well, let's crack into it. But first things first, that auger belt. Hey guys, before we get into the video, if this is the type of content you like, give it a thumbs up, and also, consider hitting the subscribe button below. Anyway, let's get on with the repair. Alright, so let's get started on this thing. Get this cover off. You're going to need a 1/2-inch driver. There, should be able to get this cover up and out of the way. Well, there's your problem right here. The belt's busted. So let's get that off. I'm just going to pull it up. See if I can just pull it out. Nope, she ain't going to come out. Must have gotten eaten and stuck in somewhere. Yeah, that's fine. Snowblowers, they're going to eat belts. No matter what you do, they eat belts. Good thing I have a few of them. So if it happens again, I'm ready. So the belt you'll need for this is a 3L 380.
You sure about that?
So now we got to flip it on its service side so we can get the belly pan opened. There, it's now in the service position, so we'll be able to access the belly pan and take care of that belt. So 4 more 1/2-inch bolts. Make sure you have your trays for your screws so you don't lose them. And there we go, the innards have been revealed. These chains look like they have been well oiled and greased. This thing actually looks like it was well cared for over the years before I got my hands on it. Friction disc looks a little worn, but it's not too bad. Lots of grease on the axle. Well, by lots of grease, I don't mean that it's been put so much grease that it's a mess. I just mean that there's a good amount. Right, so let's get these belts done. I think that's belt material. Feels like belt material. I would say that's belt material. I would definitely say that is belt material. What a mess. So this lower one looks like it's got a bite taken out of it. That one there is the auger belt. So that's going to need replacement. Absolutely. Because, well, simply put, the auger doesn't work. So, yeah, we're going to have to replace it. Okay, give me a second. I think I have to pull this up like that, and that should release the belt. Not quite sure how pulling the auger releases the belt, but that's what it does. So let me pin this up here. Okay, you wait here, floating in midair, and I'll be right back to pin this up. A crazy idea that might work. Oops. Take two of a crazy idea that might work. Maybe it's working. Let's go see. Did it relieve the tension? Seems to have. I wonder if that means we can pull the belt. Oh, yep. That's exactly what it did. It allowed us to pull the belt. Perfect. Okay, so that's something that you got to do. Remember that. You got to pull the auger lever to be able to release the belt. And I would say using a glove like this, pretty fun hack. That was kind of neat. Since we are still going to need that, I'm just going to leave it in place. Let's get the new belt on. Well, it doesn't look like there's anything about this one that is easy. In fact, it looks like I got to split the unit to be able to get access to be able to put a new belt on. And it looks like not only do I have to split the unit, either I have to pull these bolts or I have to remove this drum. Oh boy. All right, so let's get these bolts pulled on the side. Two of them. There's one down there, 9/16, and another one on the other side. Exactly the same, 9/16. Let's get that pulled. Clunk. It's one side settling. I'm gonna have to get my assistant to give me a hand with this. Actually, I think I should put it down first, then release the bolts. Then it should just roll away. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it down first. Okay, it's down. Now I guess we can separate the unit. Okay, well, I've got this all back together. I tried to take this off, didn't work. I tried using a puller and yeah, take a look at that. It's kind of bent. Yeah, I bent it. I really buggered this one. So I replaced it though. There's another one in there. So at least I replaced it. But that's pretty bad, huh? Like, look at that. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. As for the belt, these guides, wow. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. So they're 9/16, but they were in there. Like, they were in there. Using the box end on my 9/16, it would cause it to flex open. So I couldn't get these off, no matter how hard I tried. So finally, I managed to get the box end on. Because the open end flexed. I know I just called it the box end, but no. The open end would flex. So I managed to get the box end on by, well, I kind of forced it. I'm not going to lie. I did kind of force it. I got another wrench in behind here. There was no belt. So I managed to bend it out just enough to get the wrench down. Then I would get it to the point where it was pinched in between the pulley and this, and I would just hit it down with a hammer. I didn't have to with that one or that one. They were a little bit easier. I just moved it out a little bit and they dropped right down. And got the box end on and managed to get them off. But holy crap, that was absolutely ridiculous. Never doing that again. Forget it. And I know that as soon as I break the belt, I'm going to have to do this all again. I didn't want to put you guys through that torture of watching me struggle like there was no tomorrow. At least I know now that I won't have that issue going forward. I'll be able to do, I'll be able to get all these off again because I put copper grease. I was not going to fight with this again. I made sure to put copper anti-sleaze on every single one because I'm not going to struggle with this. I don't know why there was an anti-seize on it to begin with. I'm going to get this back together on On the snowblower, I'm not going to bore with the details. It just goes on in the reverse of how it came apart. And how I separated it was I put a paint can down here. So when I lowered it down, it forced this part up off of these hooks because there's a bolt that comes through here and it just rests on those. And then up here is where it actually attaches and mounts up to it. Well, not mounts up to it, but this is where it secures everything, keeps it from falling off. But yeah, down here, there's a pin and it just rotates on it. Before I put the anti-seize and put these in, I did chase the threads to make sure it was all clean. I also chased the threads of the studs to make sure those were good too. So to take it off, I basically just forced it upwards using a paint can. All right, guys, I'll be back when this is all back together and it's on here, and then we'll see about getting this thing. Well, I guess we can't start it because it's been having some issues, but we got to check that key. We'll pop off the flywheel cover and we'll have a peek and we'll see, because hopefully the flywheel is not sheared, but or the flywheel key anyway. Hopefully the flywheel key's fine, but I'm not 100% sure because this thing's a pig to start, and lately it hasn't been starting. And it also did ingest one of its chains. All right, guys, I'll be right back as soon as this is all together. Well, this is lovely. I can't get this belt on. There's absolutely no way that belt's going to fit. The listing was wrong. Right, so it's not a 3L380 belt for this thing. Oh, boy. All right, MTD. Let's see what belt it is that you guys are calling for, because what the heck. Okay, guys, I'm going to see what I can find. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've got a new belt. It's a 4L450. Oops. Okay, how to get it back on the machine. All right, I got the two halves of the machine together, and I've got the belt on, but I just have it around the tensioner pulley. I got to get this bolt off, but that's part of the tensioner pulley. So I have a feeling that's going to pull it down because of this spring. So I think when I come to this, I think I'm going to have to release this spring just to get rid of that extra tension so it doesn't pull it down on me. Or maybe it won't. I'm not 100% sure. You know what? Let's try it. Let's just try removing it and see what happens. Maybe it gets pulled over one way or another, but we should be able to fix it. And that's a 15/16. So let's get that off. I can feel things happening. I wonder how much tension this is under, if any. Oh, things are happening. I'm glad it wasn't tight. Well, it was tight, but it wasn't stupid tight. Oh, it came off pretty easy. No issues. Good. Okay. Now that it's free, I guess I can pry it over a bit. And then in the shortened version, none of this talking really happens. We're going to walk it on. Maybe. Is it from pulling this over? Let's see. Yep. Come on. Oh, we're on. Yay! We did it. All right, so now that's on. Let's get this bolt back in. Maybe. Oh, no, it fell over. There. I think I've got it. I thought I had it. Oh, I do have it. Awesome. Why does it seem so much shorter all of a sudden? Yeah, this tensioner is no longer engaging when I pull that. Something's binding. This thing's binding. Sorry about the noise in the background, that's the heater. Yeah, I thought so. Something's binding up on here. Let's take this bolt back out. Making sure none of the threads are damaged. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to re-lube it. I'll have to say, for 41 years old, it's pretty good looking hardware. White lithium grease. Just to give the collar something to spin on. Let me just get a dry rag and just take off the excess. Perfect. Get the washer in. Now hopefully that heater quiets down soon. Oops. There. That should help. Maybe. Got it that time. You have to slightly engage it. There we go. That's much better. There. Perfect. Okay. So we got that belt on there. Now to get that bolt on, because there's two bolts. There, it looks like that infernal beast is finally shut up. There's the other bolt. I'm just going to put some copper anti-seize on there. And the second Bendex. That one there is 13/16. Or you can also use a 19 mil. I guess that's 3/4 then. Sorry. Yeah, 3/4, or you can use 19. My bad. My mistake. Sorry, I retract my previous statement. 3/4 or 19 mil. And 19 fits quite nice on there. So she'll pull over and the belt don't move. And if we engage it and we pull it, the belt moves. That's what we want to see. All right, let's get those last two bolts on. Lithium grease. Just to hopefully keep the bolts from seizing. Hopefully. For what it's worth, it is possible to do this without splitting the unit. You take off this stud here and this stud here. Splitting the unit just makes it a bit easier. I didn't know, so now I know. Plus, I wouldn't have been able to get those bottom ones out, man, because, geez, they were ridiculous. These top ones were pretty easy. Hopefully, going forward, I can do this without splitting the unit. There we go. That's now done. Test it one more time. Looks good. Right? So we'll get the belt cover on. Fight with it, and fight with it, fight with it some more. And the last one fell underneath it. So we'll put it on after, but first let's tip it up. There, now we've once again exposed the belly of the beast. There's the one that fell. You know, honestly, it's going to spray on some lithium grease on the chains. And there we go. Let's see, I need to come over here. No. Good. Otherwise, she won't drive. Just give it a quick wipe off, just to be 100% sure. Yeah, it looks good. There's plenty of grease already on the bar, and it actually looks still pretty decent. In fact, to be honest with you, all the grease in here actually look pretty good. It looks like I missed a chain though. There's a third chain just back there. There we go. Very good. Now to get the belly pan back on. There we go. Helps if I put it on right. There. Right, now to lower it down and complete the belt change. It's a little bit bent. That's why I won't go through. All right, I guess I'm going to have to do a little bit of physical persuasion to get it through. Why does it always have to pick the hard way? Well, unfortunately, the Lumia just died. The screen recently got broken, actually. I have no idea how. I picked it up off, well, it was on my computer desk, and the screen was like that, so I'm not sure. I think something must have fallen on it. That's it. That's all together. I mean, in all honesty, this snowblower is all set, but we still have a couple things that we got to quickly check to find out what's going on. Because this thing, again, as I said, it's tough to start. So we got to find out what's going on and why it's so tough to start. Anyway, that concludes the belt segment. Now we're going to move on to pull rope. I guess we could change that. It's looking kind of frayed, and I've pulled the living hell out of it. So be good to change that and find out what's going on with the flywheel key. Okay, guys, so that's how you change the belt on one of these. It's a bit of a pain, it's a little bit of a struggle, but if you persevere, you will get through it. It's not too bad. The worst part is separating this unit, but if you remember to put some anti-seize on those bolts to make sure that you can get them out easier next time. If you gotta screw them in and out constantly, you don't want to be struggling with them each and every time. Alright guys, I'll see you soon. Okay, we've got 4 bolts. One here, one over here, one here, and another one here. They're all 3/8. There we go. Pull recoil is free. All right, let's get this rope changed. All right, before we do the rope, let's quickly pull this flywheel, or at least take a look at the flywheel and see, is the key sheared at all? We need a 3/4. Well, let's see. Is it sheared? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Looks to me like everything's still fine with it. I can see it fine in there inside the key slot there. Yeah, I don't think this flywheel key's sheared. I think I'm just gonna have to check the spark, and maybe it's points and condenser and it's gone. It needs to be cleaned, but I'm not seeing any problem there. All right, so let's get that rope changed. All right, let's get this rope changed. So we're going to pull the rope all the way out. Then we're going to clamp it in place. Check out that patent date. 1975. Huh, that's wild. Okay, so once we've got that clamped down, now we can pick this out, if we're lucky. That makes a difference getting this out. Aha! Got it that time. Now we're going to cut the end off. These scissors suck. They're actually really bad. These pliers aren't much better, but they actually cut. Then we're going to take a lighter and we're going to melt these together. It's not a very good bond. We'll try again. It feels like a better bond. Let's see, will it go through? It did. No problem. Now we're just going to measure it out. Let's pick this top off, because that's where the rope is. We'll just chop this whole top right off. Then we'll pick the rope out of it. Next, pull the rope through. And we'll measure it off. There's our mark. Figure 8 knot. And pulled into position. As for the handle, pull it back to here, break the rope apart, and now we've got this part. We'll just quickly pull the rope out through here. Another figure 8 knot. Tuck it into this metal part. Release the vice grips and we'll slowly let it back in. And that's it. Rope changed. Let's get it back on the unit. All right, since the flywheel's fine, I guess we'll get this part back on. Forget the washer. It's a Belden, so it's curved. So when you're putting it back on, we have this metal bracket. The metal bracket has this little cutout, and it just pops in. Just like that. Now we'll get on the recoil. 4 3/8 nuts. And we'll quickly run them down. There we go. Let's try her out. Yep. Pulls over just fine. Right, so that's how you change the rope on one of these old pull recoils for these Tecumseh engines. Okay, so let's check this spark plug and make sure that we actually do have spark. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Did I bump it before I put it in the machine? Weird, because I remember I did check it before I put it in, but maybe I bumped it. Could have done any number of things. So let's see. I have 0.25. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't fit at all. So that could be the problem that I'm having with the snowblower. All right, so let's fix that. See if that's better. Yep. Much better. Okay. Well, let's try that. Let's see if that is enough to start this beast. Okay, let's get this thing outside, and then we can test it for spark and see if it'll start up. Okay, turn the fuel on, turn the spark on. Get it into neutral. The choke is on. Give it a second. And I'll give it a few primes. Okay, so now it should start. Should start. Okay, started, just didn't want to run. She's alive again! She lives! Wahaha! She lives again! Yes! Now the auger! Oh, she died again. Let's try it. I wonder if she's just low on fuel. That's possible too. No, it seems that there's plenty of fuel, I think. It's hard to see. We'll try it one more time. Full throttle. Unless it is out of gas. Right. Give me 1 second. See about adding some fuel. Maybe it is out of gas. Fresh fuel. That should be more than enough to wet its whistle, I'm sure. At least I would hope so. I put in like a third of that jerry can. Oh, it sounds like a lot better. Let's take this roll a little bit. No.
Saved another one. Got her back from the dead. It's so nice when a Snow King rises from the dead. And here's a Snow King risen from the dead.
Man, these old machines are friggin' something else. Absolute beasts. Absolute beasts. So found out what my spark problem was. Simply not having the gap on the spark plug properly. Someone did mention that in my recent spark plug video. I know I gapped the plug, but I didn't show it in the video. And I must have bumped it. So entirely my fault. 100% my fault. I caused my own problem. And I fixed another problem. It's back running again and running perfect. Right. Okay, guys. See you in the next one. Sorry, it's a little darker out, guys. Unfortunately, that's one of the things that happens with winter. It kind of gets dark out and stays dark out. But she's running. I mean, it would have been nice if we had this thing running when we had the giant snowfall, and then I wouldn't have been doing it with my hands, the shoveling and all that fun stuff. But instead, no, it decided to snap the belt. But here we go. We fixed the belt. Pain in the ass. 100% pain in the ass. Having to split the unit, that was kind of nuts. But I learned a lot, and I hope everyone that watched, you guys learned a lot too. Anyway, guys, spark plug off for safety. Hey guys, thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Very much appreciate you watching all the way through. If you haven't already, give it a thumbs up. That does help the channel a lot, pushes this video out to more people, and lets them know, hey, guess what? This is actually a pretty good video. Also, if this isn't your first time here, and you haven't already, maybe this video is the one where I've actually earned your subscription, and I would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe below. Anyway, guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.